Sonic games have always had their fair share of scary moments and even things that I would consider straight up horror. But there's one of those traumatizing things that is hardly ever talked about. Sonic Adventure, Amy's story. With Sonic Origins Plus finally out and Amy finally playable in the classic Sonic games, I thought now would be the perfect time to talk about a topic I've been wanting to discuss for quite some time now. Amy's transition to 3D was a fucking horror game. Okay, so to be fair, Amy had her first pixel art appearance in Sonic CD and would be first ever playable in Sonic Drift, which is a racing game. Actually, up until Sonic Origins Plus, Amy kinda started off being playable in 3D. Aside from Sonic the Fighters and Sonic R, up until then, Amy didn't have her own gameplay style. Her first ever solo gameplay style would be created in Sonic Adventure in 1998. While characters like Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails would have their formula recreated for 3D, Amy would get her first coat of paint. A fucking horror game. Yeah, Sega wasn't messing around when they put out Sonic Adventure. Creating 6 unique gameplay styles for 6 characters is something I don't see a lot of people commending them for. Sure, some of them are left to be desired for, but I think part of it also depends on the person. Also, I don't think anyone was expecting a fucking horror game. Maybe I'm the only one, but I thought Amy's playthrough in SA1 was terrifying as a kid. Granted, I also used to be terrified of the Sonic 1 title screen. So in Amy's story for Sonic Adventure, you're on the run from a robot named Zero, who is actually after a bird that escapes from Eggman's massive ship, the Egg Carrier. Apparently the bird has a Chaos Emerald, but that robot must have something personal against Amy because you get into a fight with that bitch at the end of her playthrough, even after the Chaos Emerald's been found and taken away from the bird. Like, what the fuck? What a fucking asshole. How are you programmed to go after this ancient powerful artifact, but after it's been found, you continue to chase the thing that originally had it? This robot clearly has some other issues going on, but it doesn't fucking matter because we murder it with a giant hammer. But it wasn't always this way. Amy's entire story in the game is about her running from this robot, and it's actually pretty awesome. Playing through her story as an adult isn't anywhere near as terrifying as it was as a kid, but Sonic Team was definitely onto something here. Something I feel was overlooked and even underrated. As a kid, Amy's story was my least favorite because of how stressful and anxiety-inducing it was. Let me explain. Amy has 3 action stages. In each of them, the goal is to make it to the end of the stage and escape on a balloon like Mary Poppins. It's very similar to Sonic's playstyle in that you have to go from the beginning of the level and reach the end. The only difference is that there's a fucking robot chasing you. When I tell you this shit is straight out of a horror film, I'm not kidding. Sonic Team was purposely trying to give kids nightmares when designing this. What's even crazier is not only do you have this menacing robot trying to look up your skirt, but the game has you solving puzzles, avoiding enemies, and doing platforming all at the same time. What do I look like, a customer service worker? It's honestly a great combination of action, platforming, and horror. Like, there's times when you need to book it, as you do in a Sonic game, and then there's times where the game slows down the pace to deliver that sense of fright and even terror. Hell, there's even stuff in here that contains mechanics that I feel like a lot of horror games of today use. Even if all of them don't work properly, Amy does get a hammer that she can use to stun Jason Voorhees, but it's only temporary and you can only do it a handful of times before Zero becomes immune to it, and then the only thing you can do is literally run. Zero doesn't give a single fuck at all. Trying to go for a nice swim in the most luxurious pool in all of Station Square?
Surprise, motherfucker.
Trying to enjoy a nice stroll through the aquarium?
Surprise, motherfucker.
Trying to clock into work before your boss fires you for being late for the 7th time?
Surprise, motherfucker.
Albeit unemployment rates are kinda at an all-time high right now, so as long as you still show up, you should be fine. This bitch will even follow you into the bathroom. Like, damn dude, it's not that serious.
Surprise, motherfucker.
I love all the shit the game throws at you while you're trying to avoid this guy. From enemies that are trying to f your asshole, to stage obstacles that are damn near impossible to avoid, Amy's stages will at least keep you on your toes. Oh, I remember playing this part of Twinkle Park as a kid with the mirrors and shit. Such a classic horror movie trope, right? And then the music is the most delicious cherry on top. That soft, gentle reverb on the piano and the melody really makes this whole section all the more eerie. I always got chills hearing it and always tried rushing through this part as a kid. I also really love that the game slows down the pace by having you solve puzzles or do something that takes time, such as opening a door, waiting for an elevator, or maneuvering this elevator. The game adds all this extra shit to make things more dynamic and stressful. You thought running from this robot was stressful? No? Okay, here's some shit to dodge, enemies to avoid, and a bunch of bullshit in your way just to slow you down. And if you really want a thrilling experience, try the extra missions for each of the action stages. One of them requires you to finish the level with 50 rings, and the other is beating the level within a time limit. They do certainly up the ante. Things that made Amy's stages way more terrifying for me as a kid is I thought that if Zero caught you, it was game over. Like you'd lose all your lives and have to start at the very beginning again. Turns out Zero just attacks you like a normal enemy and only uses 2 different attacks most of the time. They should have made a hard mode where you have to start all the way from the beginning of the stage if you're ever caught by him. The other thing that made Amy's story a much more thrilling experience for little 8-year-old Joey is that I thought Zero was always chasing you, even in the hub world. Zero is constantly chasing Amy from the moment her story begins. I mean, the game leaves you off in the hub world literally after being chased. So I thought I had to also hide around the hub world. You'd think that after never seeing Zero chase you in the hub world, that wouldn't be a thing, right? No, I just thought I was that good at the game. I thought I was just better at outrunning Zero in the hub world than the action stages. So of course playing Amy's story was always my least favorite. Constantly feeling like you're being hunted sounds like an awful time. With all that said, I think Sonic Team should bring something like this back. Even if it was only a small minigame, they were definitely onto something back then, and it's kinda sad it never got expanded upon. In this day and age, they could probably pull something like this off with Tails, seeing as they made him a bitch ass in the more recent Sonic games. But I doubt we'll ever see something like this again in a Sonic game. Nonetheless, it was really fun to talk about and re-experience as an older fan. But what do you guys think? Did anyone else find Amy's levels terrifying as a kid? Would you want to see an official Sonic the Hedgehog horror game? Maybe something with a Tails doll? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you want to see videos similar to this one in the future. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.